something super easy, nothing extra that you do to it. Take it out of the oven, set it on wire rack 10 minutes, then flip it out onto a pan. The only difficulty I had in that was trying to find a rectangle pan to flip it out onto. So that might be something to think about when you are choosing a pan to make this cake in. All right, we'll be ready to go in just one moment. Fortunately, my little assistant's not here tonight. She's working, so I don't have a dishwasher. Just me, myself, and I. All right. She actually really enjoys coming to the cooking class. All right. Next, we're going to start on our strawberry pudding. All right. Now, we're going to take one container. I had exited, actually, I found out today, you remember the little pints of strawberries, the frozen pints of strawberries? Well, they're non-existent now. They don't exist anymore. You buy them in a round container. So instead of using two, you just use 1 16-ounce container of sliced strawberries in sugar. You can use the light, you know, it's just not going to be as sweet. Okay, these are just about thawed. You don't need to thaw them actually, you can just pour them in the pot. And you take a large box of strawberry jello, instant jello, of course, instant jello. All of it's instant, I assume. A large box of jello, and just put it down in the pot with your sliced strawberries. And you're going to cook that just a few minutes till that jello dissolves. Just take just a few minutes. But while that is going, we are actually going to go ahead and prepare the rest of this. This is actually in 3 sets. Kind of reminds you of banana pudding when we start putting it together, but it's a different take. And this would be wonderful in the summer. And you could always use fresh strawberries and cook them with a little bit of sugar and then add the jello if you'd like in the summer. This would be wonderful with Scotch strawberries in the summer. All right, let's see here. Now, we're going to take in another bowl. We're going to take our vanilla instant pudding. This is 1 large box of pudding. We're going to put this in. And 3 cups of cold milk. We're going to stir that together. All right. Then we are going to add to add 1 cup of sour cream. Sounds something a little bit different in a dessert, but sour cream really adds to a lot of things. Actually, it makes a dessert fuller sometimes, even though it's a little bitter. And we're going to mix that sour cream in with that. Make sure I had the container. Do you all remember the night that I didn't have the right bowl on here? That was not a good night. All right, we're going to let that mix up, and then we're going to add a 16-ounce container of whipped topping, Cool Whip, Food Club whipped topping. You can go anywhere from about 3/4 of a container to a whole container of Cool Whip. We're actually going to stir it in just a moment. All right. Okay, we're going to put that on there just a minute. Now normally you don't beat Cool Whip, but if I have little chunks in this or don't get mixed up real well, it actually, I better stir that. It actually, you can still blend. This is one recipe you can actually blend the Cool Whip up in, because I know how many of you all have made Cool Whip and stirred it up too far and then it didn't want to set. But this recipe actually will still actually work blended. Okay, we've just about got this stirred up. I'm going to just blend it in here, because who was here a couple of weeks ago? We made eggnog punch, and we blended Cool Whip up in it. I don't have a lot of patience when it comes to things like that. Patience is a virtue, and I lack it just a little bit. So when we talk about folding, so this you don't have to fold. Okay, I'm going to put the whole container. I'm just going to put it all. It works for me. You know, and a dessert really can make a meal. You can take the simplest meal and have an elegant dessert, and it can really say everything, because that's the last that somebody eats, and that's the most memorable part of your meal, because it's the last thing that you actually taste. So you know, especially special occasions and whatnot. We have Valentine's Day coming up. You know, quite a few things, or you just want to do something nice at home, something different for dinner, a special dinner or dessert, or just because it's Wednesday, you know. These desserts are quick and easy. This strawberry pudding is just a great little thing. This is something really nice to take to a church event or some kind of other event, and people think that you've spent a lot of time, and you really haven't. Same thing with this pistachio cake. It looks very elegant, but it takes a very small amount of time. Okay, we're going to take these strawberries off real quick. Okay, you want these to cool just a little bit with this gelatin. It says set aside and let cool, but once again, I like that kind of patience, and for our purposes, I stick it in the freezer. I stick it down in a bowl. I've got ice in it, thankfully. So now we have, this is what your topping is going to be. This is kind of, if you were making banana pudding, this would be your pudding section of it. I'm going to pour this out into a bowl. You could even take a round bowl. It would be beautiful to make pudding in that, or you can serve it. This one is actually, I think, the 11.5 by 9.5, and I've got 13 by 9s over here. And you just, like you would with banana pudding, I got Food Club vanilla wafers, which are excellent, and you just line the bottom of your pan. The good thing about using a bigger pan like this is you can actually serve a few more people than you would. But I did find today when I used the 9 by 13 pan, this is a very full recipe, and it comes all the way to the top. All right. Let me go ahead and get my All right, you notice this makes a lot of mixture. So you can just really lay it to it. You just keep layering it. You put the vanilla wafers, then this creamy pudding mixture, and then we're going to put our strawberry gelatin mixture on top of this, and just keep layering. I'll usually just make about 2 layers. This is super easy. This is something your kids can help you with, or grandkids. Okay, I'm gonna layer that in there. Just like so. And let's hope our strawberries are cool enough. We're getting there. Here's my own slotted spoon. All right. I've got a slotted spoon instead of a regular spoon, so it may take a minute or two. That's what I was looking for. All right, you're going to just gradually spread this on here. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I put more in the first layer than I do in the second layer. The second layer is kind of the top. It's the topping of this. Maybe you have to get a different spoon. All right. Okay, we're starting to spread it here. All right. Now we're going to put another layer of vanilla wafers. We've got a lot of different classes planned for the rest of January, February, and March. We're talking today about different things that we're going to do in the next 2 months. Next week is the letter U. If you all have been following us, making a notebook, a lot of you have. It is letter U. Doug is actually going to do that class next week. It'll be interesting to see what kind of different ideas he comes up with the letter U. Some of these letters are a little bit challenging, to say the least. And then we're going to have soups for Super Bowl. It's going to be the end of January. We're going to have one meal in March. We've got a chef from Asbury Center. It's going to come the week of Valentine's Day. We're going to do a show dinner for two another week. We've got a lot of great things planned. Probably some Irish meals and different take on Irish food in March. Somebody was talking a couple of weeks ago wanting to do a German food class. Talked about that. If there's something new or exciting or something that you all want to explore with us, all you have to do is ask us. We'd be more than happy to try to come up with something. And it's good to learn something new every day. All right, we're going to layer the last layer of pudding on. Like I said, this is a very full dessert. It will serve a lot of people, about 24 people, a good serving. We're still beating the frosting. Okay, this last bit of strawberries we're going to put on top. Looks like tonight we're going to drizzle them. But like I said, when you use these strawberries, you could, of course, use fresh strawberries in the summer. Just don't forget to add your sugar and cook them down, make kind of a thick syrup, and then add your gelatin to that. Maybe a few of you all use Splenda. You could, of course, cut the sugar and use less sugar in a lot of these things by using Splenda. Now, let's see. And I always like to take, I've washed most of these off earlier. And add some fresh strawberries to the top. That's always beautiful. Of course, I added some to our raspberry upside down cake. Garnishes go a long ways. Fruits are pretty forgiving in wanting to make when you make garnishes. And that is your strawberry pudding. Now you do need to chill this, of course, before serving.